The Great Chicken Heist. The crisp morning air was filled with the clucking of chickens, the creak of wagon wheels, and the occasional shout of villagers haggling over produce. Thalwyn the druid, Grimda the dwarf, Arindal the elven archer, and Sister Leora the cleric had been summoned to the estate of Lord Garrick, a nobleman with a reputation for eccentricity. As the group approached the manor, they were greeted by Garrick himself, a rotund man with a finely groomed moustache and an air of desperation. "My Henrietta," he wailed, wringing his hands. "She's gone. Stolen by ruffians in the dead of night." Quote, "Henrietta?" Grimda asked, raising a bushy eyebrow. "My prized chicken," Garrick exclaimed. "She lays golden eggs. Without her, I'm ruined." Quote, Arindal sighed, already regretting this job. "And you're sure it's not just a very shiny egg?" Quote, "No," Garrick insisted, thrusting a gilded egg under her nose. "She's magical, I tell you." Quote, Thalwyn crouched, examining a set of footprints leading away from the co-op. The tracks head into the forest. Bandits, most likely. Bandits stealing chickens, Grimda muttered. "What's next, magical goats?" Quote, "Let's just get this over with," Leora said with a patient smile. Into the forest. The trail led the party deep into the woods, where the trees grew thick and the underbrush crackled beneath their boots. Thalwyn paused now and then to inspect the ground, her druidic senses guiding them. They soon came upon a clearing where a group of ragged bandits lounged around a campfire, their laughter echoing through the trees. A wooden cage sat nearby, and inside it, Henrietta clucked indignantly. Grimda crouched beside Thalwyn, his armor creaking. "What's the plan?" "Smash 'em all, grab the chicken, and be done." Quote, "Subtle," Arindal whispered dryly, drawing her bow. Thalwyn shook her head. "We don't know how many more are nearby. Let's try something quieter." "Leave it to me," Grimda said, rising to his full height. "Grimda," Leora began, but it was too late. The dwarf marched straight into the clearing, hammer resting on his shoulder. "Oi! That's a fine bird you've got there." Quote, the bandits jumped to their feet, hands on their weapons. "What do you want, dwarf?" snarled a lanky man with a scar running down his face. Grimda grinned. "I'll trade ye for her. This hammer here's worth more than your whole camp." As the bandits' attention shifted to Grimda, Arindal slipped silently into the shadows, her bow ready. The rescue. While Grimda kept the bandits distracted with exaggerated tales of his hammer's history, forged in dragonfire. Blessed by mountain gods. Thalwyn transformed into a fox and darted toward the cage. With deft movements, she gnawed through the rope securing the latch. Henrietta, however, had other plans. As soon as the cage door opened, she bolted, not toward safety, but straight for Grimda, squawking loudly. The bandits turned in unison. "Hey!" Quote, "Ah, feathers!" Grimda swore, grabbing the chicken and sprinting back toward the forest. The bandits gave chase, shouting threats. Arindal loosed a series of arrows, pinning their boots to the ground. Thalwyn returned to her human form and summoned a wall of brambles to block their path. Leora stood at the ready, her mace glowing with divine energy. "Leave now, and you'll keep your lives," she warned. The bandits took one look at the glowing weapon, the brambles, and the elf drawing her next arrow, then decided discretion was the better part of valor. A feathered surprise. Back at the manor, Lord Garrick was overjoyed to see Henrietta safe and sound. "Oh, my precious girl," he cooed, cradling her. "Glad that's done," Grimda grumbled, dusting off his armor. "I'll take me payment in gold, and none of it shaped like eggs." Quote, as Garrick handed over the reward, Henrietta began to shimmer. Before their eyes, the chicken transformed into a regal woman dressed in shimmering robes. "I am Henrietta," she announced, her voice musical. A sorceress cursed by a jealous rival to take the form of a chicken. Grimda stared, his mouth agape. "You're tellin' me I carried a lady under me arm through half the forest?" Quote, Henrietta smiled. "And for that, I am grateful. Here is your reward." She produced an egg that gleamed brighter than gold. "Inside is a map to great treasure. Use it wisely." Thalwyn accepted the egg, her curiosity piqued. "What kind of treasure?" Quote, Henrietta winked. "The kind worth another adventure." As she disappeared in a burst of golden feathers, Grimda groaned. "I liked her better as a chicken." The group laughed as they walked away, the egg gleaming in Thalwyn's pack and a new mystery awaiting them.